Alright, welcome back to Part 4. Before we begin, I want to call out a few things from Part 3 that sort of got missed, and I've made note of them on the description in that video. But there's a number of the equipables that we picked up in that section that I just never equipped, or even called out entirely. So in the Cursed Woods, there was a fight afterwards. We picked up a chest. That was the bone armor for Valier, and we just never equipped it. We never called it out because it was talking about something different. There's a correction in the description of that video regarding Sarai's daggers. In the video I had said that it was 0 boost with all of the shimmering equipment that gave Sarai around 10 damage per dagger. It's actually 2 boosts with all of the equipment that gives her around 10 damage. So also in the catacombs we picked up the Osseous staff in the Ghoul skip room. And I never called it out, I never equipped it. And also the enchanted scarf on the way out after the catacombs. We picked it up and we never equipped it when it should have got equipped on Valier. So a lot of things in that video that I just never equipped when I picked them up. So hopefully that doesn't happen moving forward. I'm going to make more of a conscious effort to try to call out every chest that we're picking up. Especially if it has a weapon in it. With that said, welcome to Part 4. This is going to be Sea of Nightmares. When we left in the last video, we hadn't talked to the captain yet. I've gone ahead and talked to the captain, and we're over on the Vespertine now. And so I've gone ahead and I've equipped all of those things that I just mentioned, the Osseous staff, the bone armor, the enchanted scarf. And let me explain some of the fights that were a little weird in the Haunted Mansion from the last video. So had everything been equipped and proper, it would have been a little more to script. So kind of just goes to show, though, you can still get by forgetting to equip some of these things, and you might not even notice. So while things are kind of tight, there's clearly some wiggle room here. So here we are on the Vespertine. Starting out here, you're going to climb up and go across. It's the only thing you can do right now. And you shouldn't have to do any sort of gear updates from the end of Act 3 moving into here. You should just be fine to move right through into our first fight. You're going to open this fight with a crescent arc on the center guy. And then you're going to go Sunball. Timing on these guys' shots is a little delayed from what you think it would be. So prepare to just hold off when you think you're going to just hold off a second. Okay, center guy is down. We're going to swap in Sarai and use her to finish off this guy. Because of all of her equipables and the power belt and everything else, her physical attack is enough to just completely blow these guys away. And use a boost on Valier. He must have been 1 HP off or something. I think he's very close. 2 HP. Yeah, that should have ended it with Valier. Might have got a low roll there. Some food. And for this next fight, you shouldn't have to worry about your MP if you finish that last fight with Valier, because she would have gotten a 3 MP boost. But you're going to want Moonerang and Venom Flurry going into this next fight. So boost your Moonerang. And you may remember in my last video, I mentioned that we're going to be relying heavily on Moonerang and Venom Flurry in this section. So you'll see now we're getting Moon and Venom locks. We're going to get that a lot. If you have the combo points, go ahead and finish this off with the Solstice Strike. And you want to do a quick scan of your party before you go into the next fight. MP is not really a problem. 8 HP is more what you're worried about. And because we have... Oh, Garl is very low HP, so I'm just going to go ahead and heal him here. We have 14 MP on Garl, so we can heal twice if we want to. But it doesn't really look necessary for Sarai. In this fight, you're going to want to start by picking on the enemy that has the highest timer. The other two are inevitably going to get to attack, so don't worry about hitting them right now. Let's focus on the one that we can prevent from attacking. Wow. So, I wasn't worried about her HP. It was still pretty high, but I missed both of those blocks, so that's very unfortunate. If you have revive items, you could use them at this point. I believe we've used both of our Puppylos. Yeah. Oh, we do have one left. She's 1 star down. I'm just gonna let her come back naturally. Generally, you're just going to want to look for the timers and try to prevent as many of their attacks as possible. Sarai, again, going to be doing the most damage. So try to prioritize her for taking out enemies with, you know, a fair amount of health left if you want to prevent them from attacking. But don't worry too much about how that fight really just plays out. Just kind of keep plucking through and doing the damage as quickly as you can. This next fight, you don't worry about your HP at all. It's really just the MP that you're worried about here. As long as you're able to get a Moonerang and a Venom Flurry off, you're going to, in 9 out of 10 cases, kill off 2 of these guys, or maybe all 3. The biggest thing with this fight is determining how long you want to hold this Moonerang and Venom Flurry, because this is, in my opinion, one of the slowest Moonerangs in the game. I like to try to cut that Moonerang short and then focus more on the Venom Flurry. So 2 down, we'll take 1 Soul Rend. This is not a big deal. Even if a character goes down, this guy should be very close to death, so just clean up with whatever. And that's the Vespertine. All fights are done. There's a chest over here we have to pick up for quest reasons, and then you can use the campfire here, or you can use the campfire once you get to the first island. It doesn't really matter. You're going to want to do it either here or there. Your pick. So you come up through, grab Louis just for a little, couple second time save. Pick up 2 food items here. I believe this is Hearty Stew and Moon Cradle Pie, maybe? So we'll go to our first island. We have 3 islands we have to do in this section before we can go to the boss. The first island has you collecting some doubloons. These kind of like glowing coins all around the island. So we'll start and we'll go counterclockwise around the island. This first skip, you're going to want to like line up and you're going to want to go a little bit to the right. What I found is like if you try to like line it up in the center and you go, you're going to touch one of the enemies. I'm forgetting what I need to do here. If you try to like line it up and go in the center of the enemies, I find you'll kind of like bonk into them. But if you kind of like wherever you think you should be and then you nudge just a little bit over to the right, I find that's normally where you want to be with that. So a little puzzle there to collect our second doubloon, and then we're getting into our next fight here. Forcing this one in, and then you guessed it, Moonerang and Venom Flurry. This Moonerang's a bit quicker. And then you can usually just clean up with Zale's attack here. we get our third doubloon. Then we can jump down from in here and climb over to this little section here. This is one of the few ropes in the game that you can't jump off of at the end. You'll just kind of have to walk it out. Fourth doubloon, fifth doubloon, and then for this island down here, we used to go all the way around, but what I found is as long as the captain is kind of moving to the right, or the sword guy, you can freely go. The gun pirates are just blind, I guess, or just don't see you or don't care. They're kind of like the Googles, so don't worry too much about them. It's just the sword pirate guys that you need to worry about. It also might explain why we can even do the triangle skip over at the beginning of this section. Maybe they just, like, those enemies don't particularly see you at all or care. Here, you have to break these 4 crystals. And because the stairs to climb up for that side are a little bit closer than this side, we'll do that side first. And on that side, you can kind of hookshot them from as far away as you want, but when you get to these last ones, particularly the last one, you want to hookshot from it as closely as possible. And that's because the animation that plays out when you hookshot and land back on the ground, if you're further away, it takes longer to play out. But it really only matters on the last one. So when that scene plays out, you want to make sure the last diamond that you're breaking is as close to you as possible when you hookshot over to it. So that's Island 1 done. We're going to go over to Island 2. Island 2, if performed properly, has no encounters whatsoever. It's very fast-paced, so I'm going to try to explain this. I'm worried that I'll screw it up if I'm explaining while I'm doing it, so I'll try to keep it brief. You're going to immediately want to go up and left through, and there's a little corner here that you can hide in when you climb up, and just watch the gun pirate here and kind of go around him and along the back. Climb up, do this first side. I've tried doing the left side first. It doesn't really matter what side. I just feel like this side is more comfortable to do first. So first crystal, look for sword pirate to go down. And then we're repeating what we just did. Climbing up, going in the corner, watching the gun pirate. And we're going to break our next crystal. And we're going to look for sword pirate to go down. And then we're going to loop back up and look for him to go left. That's kind of our cue to sneak in and go. So that island is now done. This scene will put you back at the crystal, so you can just hold down and immediately exit. And we go to the last island. On the last island, there is one forced fight and one fight that we'll skip. You're going to want to heal once you go in. Because we did have a fight on the first island, we want to heal ourselves back up before we proceed. So this is a campfire right here that we'll use. And if you haven't figured it out yet, the strat for this next fight is going to be Moonerang and Venom Flurry. Surprise! Oh, we actually got good locks for it too. Sometimes you'll get sword and sun locks instead. This is really nice. So in a lot of the previous fights, you were fighting 3 enemies, and in this fight with 4 enemies, your Moonerang and your Venom Flurries are going to be spread a little more thin. So don't be surprised if you don't kill those 2 guys on those 2 attacks. Again, because your stuff is being spread a little more thin, it's very common that at least one of them will live through your 2 attacks there. But either way, you can dash strike to, you know, do some more AoE damage and just clean up appropriately afterwards. I need to open my notes back up, because I had them closed since after the last video. So this is level 8. Nothing really in particular here I want to call out specifically. Again, if there is nothing that is attack related, go ahead and select MP. We're not too concerned with HP, and the defensive stuff is not anything that's really been routed in. HP, I guess, is a decent choice here for Garl. We have the 14 MP for him, so he's good there. Some of these upgrades, they're kind of random in the sense, the way that I understand it works, and maybe I'm wrong about this, is it tries not to show the same thing twice in a row, so it'll kind of flip-flop between things. You can hookshot there as a little shortcut and climb up, and use your air puff to... Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to cut a different video in there. So normally you don't miss this, but normally you would just air puff that guy and kind of push him up and out of the way. My diagonal kind of didn't input when I went to do it. It kind of, I think the up got stuck a little bit or something. So if you do get stuck, just get yourself out of here as quickly as you can. The 2 side guys there are weak to like magic, and the gun guys are weak to physical. But yeah, normally you would just run straight through and air puff that guy. I don't know, my diagonal got stuck or something, so. And just exit down there. The reason for the air puff is because if he chases you, you can very easily get caught on the edge of the corner and kind of get the fight as a result of that. So I will normally just air puff as a safe way of just like giving myself more breathing room. We'll continue on. You're bound to have some unintended encounters kind of sprinkled in throughout your run here and there. The ultimate goal, of course, is the perfect run. Once your gems are broken, don't do that. From the end of the scene, immediately go down and jump off this cliff. And there's another cliff you can jump here. And then you can jump here a 3rd time to land right in front of the campfire. And you go ahead and campfire. I'm going to make a save here so that I'm going to try to go back so I can record the missed skip there. So another shortcut there, you can hook shot from that area directly to the rope on the wall there. And we did rest earlier, so we didn't need to do that. It was the save I wanted to do. For this next fight, important gear swap. You're going to take the Shimmering Shard off of Sarai and put it onto Valir with the Enchanted Scarf. Reason for this being is Stormcaller, I believe, classifies as undead, so we want to put that boost on Valir because we prioritize her Moonerang, and with the magic attack boost from Enchanted Scarf, that's going to all sort of play into the amount of damage that we're doing with the Moonerang in this next fight. Other changes, you could put the power belt back on Zale if you want. I think it's fine. I think we're fine leaving this as is. You could swap the green leaf and the power belt. You're going to have that kind of like HP that's missing from the character when you do that, though. Stormcaller. So this fight's very different in Dawn of Equinox. Opening up the fight, don't worry too much about disorient immediately. And you'll see why in a moment. So for now, start building your boost. And here, you can start by doing your disorient. Try to break this lock if possible. So use Zale's sword here, and then go in with the Moonerang. Now, this is what's changed with Dawn of Equinox. When he goes to throw his 8 set of blocks here, he's always going to do this with a 3-timer. And what this ends up resulting in is, if you don't disorient this, you're going to get caught into this loop of him doing this every single turn. And it draws the fight out incredibly long. So, because of this, you're going to want to disorient when you see this happen, so that you push his timer into the next set of turns, kind of breaking out of that cycle entirely. So, because Sarai, of course, doesn't have the MP, and we use disorient on the last turn, you're going to want to start by using a Moon Cradle Pie here. Use attacks appropriately and try to break some locks, but don't forget to disorient. You need to push him into this next cycle. And remember, when he casts, you're going to want to go in with your strongest attacks afterwards, so try to leave your best characters available for that. Ruler of Tides will not kill. It's always just going to do like gravitational damage to you, essentially, so don't worry too much about it. You can get some good times in there to boost your MP, and that's going to be kind of important as you move more into the fight. For other chances to do your attack, rely on Solar Rain and Sunball as much as you can, because they also do excellent damage. So we're back in this cycle now, and Sarai, of course, doesn't have the disorient here. We have a Chaudray left, though, so I'm going to go ahead and use it on her. Swap your characters appropriately to break locks as needed. Remember, you're saving Valir afterwards. We're going to need to get 2 blocks here in this next attack if we want the MP to do the Moonerang. So hopefully that plays out for us. But otherwise, get your good characters, or leave Garl if you want to use him as a tank. But again, it's gravitational damage, so it's not a big deal. You don't need to worry about it. We're looking for 2 blocks here for Moonerang MP. Nice. kind of repeating that cycle from last time. And you're going to want to be careful here because this is chain lightning, and this does a lot of damage. So if you want to try to break it, or at least extend the fight a little bit, feel free to. You probably could, if you have the MP, just go right in with something a little more heavy since he's in weak phase, and hope that it works. But try to have Garl out here, because again, chain lightning, it's going to kill your weaker characters. He's going to give us plenty of time to clean up here. Generally, the way that fight will play out for me is, yeah, I'll end up doing 2 cycles of sort of like Moonerang and Solar Rain. And if you can sprinkle the Sunball in there as well, that's really nice. And so that's the end of... Oh, our ship's moving sideways a little bit here. That's the end of the Sea of Nightmares. We'll follow through with these scenes a little bit before we go to the next video. You're just going to talk to Hortense here to move to the next part. And you're going to get control of your ship. You're going to move over to Mirth. This is kind of up northeast a little bit. So kind of just angle your ship in that direction and start heading that way. You're going to be looking for like the snowy island and kind of docking off to the right side of it. And you're just holding your scene skip buttons here. There's a couple scenes you're going to skip by as Mirth sort of comes to fruition and gets built. And we'll just kind of exit off to the left there. You can hold up and left and kind of wiggle those as you're coming out of Mirth to like kind of give yourself a heads up and maybe move a couple tiles as, you know, the scene's sort of coming in. And you're just going to skip this initial scene and immediately exit. You're going to grab the conch on the way out since it's right there. And that will be conch number 10. We've only got one more to go. We're going to head back to Mirth, and this will be another scene or two, and then we'll be able to exit. Back down to the boat. So here you can kind of just jump off the cliff. I found a way one day you can jump from the very top to the very bottom, but it's more easy to just jump the two layers there. So we'll have a couple more scenes here we're going to skip before we get control of the boat, and we're going to want to head south. You can pretty much go for a clear shot south once you're kind of lined up here. What I like to do is I like to look for Aunt Studlow, the tower, kind of go in between the tower and the island. Oh, I was a little far off there. Just kind of cut through there. So this is going to be Jungle Path. We'll cut part 4 right here. And we'll begin the next section in the following video. So just a short one here to get through Sea of Nightmare. So we'll see you in the next one.